What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Voice Arts Podcast. I'm King Ironic here with
24K Logan.
And today we're reviewing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Released October 26, 2004, this video game is the third installment of the 3D universe.
So they say. They say yes. The 3D universe.
So they say it's a 3D universe. It's the third installment based in the 90s. We have Carl Johnson, this guy who used to live in Los Santos. After his brother passes away, he moves to Liberty City and he sets up a life there for 5 years until his mother's untimely passing. He travels back to Los Santos to find his mother's killer, and from this point on, he reunites with his old gang, sets them back up until who he thought was his former friends betrays him, has betrayed him all along. He's exiled from his city to the country. He has a love interest, Catalina, who he sets up with out there in the Badlands after being exiled from Los Santos. After that, he wins this garage in San Fierro, fictionalized from real life San Francisco.
Of course.
He sets up a garage up there, and at this point, he attempts to take down the drug organization in Los Santos. And so he runs into this guy, Mike Torino, who says he can get his brother out of prison.
Yep.
He sets up with the Triads. They help take down this this other gang of Triads, this local syndicate. After that, he goes up to Las Venturas, where he has a stake in the casino, robs the casino actually, and heads back to Los Santos, gets his brother out of prison. They set up the gang again, and he finally takes down his former brother, Big Smoke.
Yep.
And that's just about the game. There's way more, there's collectibles, the seashells, Zero's RC missions. There's a whole variety, and that's what I love about this game. It's a huge variety. It's probably one of the most varied Grand Theft Auto games that we had in recent years.
Well, I've already went on record to say that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is the greatest Grand Theft Auto game in history. I have it amongst the 5 greatest games in history of all time, period. Maybe even number 1. And I mainly say that kind of what you just described, the whole story, the cast, the cultural significance and the cultural reference or references that it made. Of course, it being based in 1992, just talking about that last mission, the riots, it's very reminiscent to the LA riots that actually happened in 1992 after the police officers that had abused or had beat on Rodney King, their verdict was found, or they were found not guilty. Yeah, so all of that ties in very well. The West Coast music, of course, DJ Pooh, the legendary DJ Pooh. Yeah, shout out. So underrated, bro. Of course, he co-wrote the script for the original Friday along with Ice Cube. And DJ Pooh had, he did a lot of things to make San Andreas become what it is today. So when I look at all of that combined, I just don't see that being replicated in other GTA games. Although you got great GTA games like Part 4, Vice City, Part 5, of course. But I just don't see San Andreas ever being duplicated. I really don't.
And it's something you can't duplicate. And back to real life events, even reference certain movies like let's see if we can go from here. Certain NPCs, there's one NPC who looked like Trey from Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
There was one who looked like Tupac from Juice.
Yes.
Bishop from Juice. I think there was a reference to Snoop Dogg from that movie The Wash, which also DJ Pooh was actually in, I think.
Yeah, that's right, because The Wash came out before San Andreas. San Andreas, of course, was released in 2004. LL Cool J, I think there might have been a reference to him. I'm not sure. It was a guy that was shirtless, had a red hat and red jeans.
Yeah, the Kango and all that.
That might have been a reference to LL Cool J.
Possibly, yeah. There's plenty of references to other pop culture movies. The casting. Shout out to Young Melee. I would say he had when it comes down to him, I feel like he was most in character when it came down to voice acting. I
think he had the most iconic voice.
Yeah, that too. The enthusiasm, he really rocked that role and was really into it. So shout out to Young Melee. Also the rest of the cast.
Clifton Powell as Big Smoke. Yo-Yo as Kendall.
Faison Love as Sweet.
MC8
as Ryder. Yeah, that was crazy. Samuel Jackson as Tenpenny. You know, and the list just keeps going on. Like when you see the faces and you see their voice acting, you like, yo. So the most stacked cast, I would say, because you know they've all had successful careers, big roles in movies, especially '90s movies and '90s culture and West Coast culture at that.
Charlie Murphy, yeah,
Jizzy B, the pimp,
and I know I'm probably going to get his name wrong. I'm so sorry. From Rush Hour, Chris Penn, I believe was his name. I'm so sorry if I got his name wrong. Rest in peace. He did the voice of Pulaski. Yeah, I can't forget about him.
Yeah, so just the whole vibe of it, you know. Where were you when you first played it? That was actually the first game we actually played. This is why I love video games.
Well, it wasn't. I don't think that was the first game that I played, but it was the first rated M game that I played, if I'm not mistaken. I was 8 years old or 9 years old when we first got this game on DVD. Well, not on DVD. Well, yeah, when we first got it on the PlayStation 2. By the way, it's also the highest selling PS2 game of all time.
Very iconic.
And obviously that won't ever be broken.
Yeah.
But I was 9 years old, and that was my first memory of San Andreas, and I remember playing it. If I didn't play it every day when I got home from school, I definitely played it all day on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And even as a kid, I knew very quickly, like, okay, Los Santos, this is very reminiscent of Los Angeles. The music that they had. If you remember when you bought it on DVD, you had the map.
Oh, the paper maps, dude.
They had the paper maps, and they also had, it was like a manual or some type of guideline that they used to give you for Grand Theft Autos, and they had pictures of like some of the main characters like Sweet, Smoke, Ryder, CJ, and they would show like the pop culture references, like Ryder being somewhat reminiscent to Eazy-E, rest in peace. Smoke being somewhat reminiscent to Ice Cube. They would show these things, and like it was just a moment in time, bro. I won't ever get that feeling again from even when GTA 6 comes out in 2027.
That's what we ever get at this point.
I'm trolling y'all, but I'm looking forward to GTA 6. But even when GTA 6 comes out, I don't think I'll get that same feeling that I got from the first time playing San Andreas, and even playing San Andreas now. I just bought the definitive edition finally, and playing San Andreas, it takes me right back to my childhood, bro.
It released in November 2021. I remember the night I played it. Those day one patches was really rough. Like, you got it better than we did, you know. And it obviously ain't the same game. Gameplay wise is better. Visually wise, they could have did better with it. But it was good to feel the game again. And it's kind of an easier version of the PS2 version.
To be fair, it was 2004. So it was, for it to be 2004. I don't think it's aged that bad. It's just because the technology is that much more advanced now. That's why it seems like the graphics from the 3D universe, so they say. God.
Yeah, I know it's confusing too.
I hate it, but anyway, that's why it seems like those graphics are terrible. But it's
and back to, because you mentioned the maps and everything. Back to that, physical releases. As a gamer nowadays, we got more digital releases.
Everything it's just like with TV. Everything
I want to play a game. I just buy it off the store. I pre-order. You get pre-order bonuses now. So now you have to pre-order the game.
Exactly.
You pre-order. You can get to pre-download it days before, and then the game finally releases. You're able to play it. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But back then, there was. I don't know if I'll ever get to see a midnight GameStop release. You know what I mean?
At this point, no.
It was like
we'll never, and we really didn't experience that because, again, San Andreas came out in 2004.
Yeah, and you was reminded at the time to so purchase if you wanted to.
Yeah, and when we finally did get it, it had been like 5 years since it was released, so there was no midnight. There was, at that time, even for like some of the games that were coming out when we really first got into gaming heavy, like Red Dead Redemption, the first one, of course, there was no midnight releases to my knowledge. And if it was,
Red Dead 1 there was. Okay. 2, I think 2 was like the last like big midnight release, you can say, because people were worried for that. I remember that. And I think San Andreas had a few, like, there was like legendary types of editions, like metal casings. Actually, shortly after the release, they had this the introduction clip. If it's on YouTube, they had that like as a bonus CD for one of the versions of it. So that was nice to see.
But it's just like I said. I mean, I can't explain how legendary this fucking game is,
yeah,
bro. Like it's such a moment in time. I feel like that's one of those games where you just had to be a 90s or a 2000s kid to really experience like the magic of it.
Yeah.
All these what they call them, Gen Ys. I think that's what they call them.
Yeah.
They swear Part 5 is so much better than San Andreas. It's not that much. It's not better, but
heavily debatable. Heavily debatable.
That'll be another topic for another day.
Actually, I wanna briefly speak on that. You know, like we can't make a full comparison today, obviously, but when it came down to, you know, thing that I love about GTA 5 and San Andreas, 2 different generations of consoles, just a generation apart. San Andreas pushed the boundaries for you know, the PS2.
It's another reason why I say it's the greatest.
GTA 5 heavily pushed the boundaries for 360. After that, it was Red Dead 2 that pushed the boundaries for the PlayStation 4 generation. So possibly with GTA 6, they'll possibly push the boundaries as far as they can with the PS5.
I mean, it's been what 13 years since we got GTA 5. They have to. It's kind of a no-brainer that they, like you said, push the boundaries to some degree with Part 6.
And I've seen I shouldn't speak
13 years.
I can only speak on so much about, you know, the news of GTA 6, but, you know, obviously, you know, 2022, you remember what happened. Seeing the game how it was, you know, it's a huge possibility that that'd be a great game. But back to San Andreas, just, you know, they really pushed the boundaries with it. The map was huge. It felt huge. When I played Definitive Edition, it wasn't as huge, you know, because like fog, render, and all that, it was all different. But
when you actually look at it now compared to Part 5 map and what Part 6 map is supposed to be, especially if they're going international, you realize San Andreas is not, the map is not that big. But the reason why you think it is that big of a map, because in San Andreas, unlike Part 5, you not only are you in Los Santos, you go to Badlands, you go to San Fierro, you go to Los Venturas. In Part 5, you have Los Santos and
Blaine County.
Yeah, but although with Part 5, it almost seems like they cover more parts of LA than what San Andreas did.
They do. And, you know, in iconic map, you know, man, I'm telling you, bro. We ever go to LA, bro, we don't need no Google Maps, bro. I'm just telling you, but like, okay, we're over here, Rodeo up there.
There you go.
Long Beach, well, not Long Beach on it, but you know, just go out there, you know, and that's just the whole thing about it. You know, they really did bring whole accuracy to it, and they made it seem like it was actually in Las Vegas or San Francisco or Los Angeles. So it was good to see how they captured the culture in that game.
And I'm, you know, kind of just to close it, I am a huge West Coast hip hop fan, and well, not just West Coast hip hop, but like, you know, being a big film guy, being a film student, I am a big fan of movies like Boys in the Hood, right? The coming of age hood movies, urban inner city movies, like that type of genre, right? And I just feel like San Andreas plays into that genre, the West Coast hip hop, just the West Coast lore. I feel like San Andreas plays into it so perfectly, and I think that's another reason why I just love the game so much, because like I said, because of the cultural significance and the cultural references that was displayed throughout San Andreas. And GTA has always done a good job of that, making a lot of culture, whether they were poking fun of certain things or paying homage to certain things, they always did a good job of these cultural references.
Yeah, and that's the thing I loved about it, you know, and just absolute nostalgia fest, but a good one, you know, a good trip. You know, you go back and play the game, you can leave being like, yo, it just still is the best game. No, nothing can
100%
compare to it.
100%.
Yeah, wrap it up. Alright guys, well thank you for watching that. You know, we only did so many gaming videos, but as a legendary video game like this, we had to, you know, came 100%. Up with it. San Andreas, 20 years, you know, we loved it. Shout out to Rockstar, shout out to Young Melee, whole San Andreas crew, you know, shout out to all of y'all. You know,
absolutely.
You know.
And y'all, like, San Andreas, huge part of my childhood. Very, like, one of the biggest parts of my childhood by far. And like I said, I'll never get that feeling again. Y'all comment down below where y'all rank San Andreas at all time compared to other Grand Theft Autos. And where do you rank it just period, amongst all games, whether it's PS2, Xbox. Where do you rank San Andreas all time? And if y'all are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We have plenty of content on the way for you guys, and we appreciate all the love and the support that y'all have been giving us. We finally reached 500.
Thank you for 500 subscribers, by the way. Thank you for
y'all
that.
so much.
That's been insane.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so please subscribe, leave a like. We'll keep bringing out content for y'all. We got some stuff for y'all. Y'all just stay tuned for it all. We got something for y'all.
Absolutely. And until next time,
Peace and love to everybody.